guys, welcome back to WIP Wednesday. I think it's episode 15, but I always forget when I start recording. I really need to have like a sticky note somewhere over here off to the side. But anyway, we are trying this with my new recording arm, which should not shake anything because it is no longer attached to my desk. I actually found this nifty little recording arm thing. I'm going to have to show it when I do my craft room tour, but it basically lets me use the same arm I had before, only now it's just attached to something else. So, anyway, enough talking about my recording arm. I am happy because I can use my normal pressure, I can shake the desk and the camera. Look at, I'm shaking the desk right now with my hands and the camera's staying still. So, yay. I was going to have my craft room tour post this Monday. I pulled it off because I had been trying to find a way to store all my Copics, and I think I found the solution, so I'm waiting for it to show up, and then I will re-record and show you guys. But I think I found a pretty cute solution that's a lot cheaper. Like, you can buy marker storage cases or like, you know, display thingies, but the price is hiked up. So I bought a closet shoe organizer, a small one, and I'm gonna see if that works for my Copic markers. I'll let you know, and I'll show you in the tour if it does work. Okay, so I do actually have a different WIP I'm working on. It is this one here. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw me posting over the weekend the hair I was doing. I even did ask in the post if any of you wanted me to do a hair series. I know there's so many hair series out there, so I didn't know if everyone was like haired out, if that's even a term. It is now. So I was like, hey, you know, if you're interested, but a lot of you said yes. So I will start a hair series. I'll get that going this month. I actually love to color hair, and that's why I love Mariola Budek, how she has a hair series, just straight up all hair. I love it. My chick looks a little freaky right now, I know, because her eyes are colored in, and so are her lips, but not her skin, so she looks woo. The reason I am not finishing this one today on camera is I kind of already have all my pencils on my bed in my cozy little coloring nook, and I just want to finish it while I lay there. Also, I didn't want to do the pan pastel skin because I have this one that we're going to do the skin tutorial on. I know, I keep like saying, here it is, I'm going to do it, and then we wait. But it will be done this week. Things have finally sorted themselves out, so to speak. I've got my recording arm issue fixed. Most of all my furniture is here, but I'll get into that later. I should actually color instead of just walk. Or talk was the word I was going for. So I am working on one of my April What's in the Bag pages. I do that video at the end of every month saying this is what I'm going to color next month. And I'm doing really good this month, guys. I'm actually coloring a lot of the pages I had picked. One of them was from Mermaids, Fairies, and Other Girls of Whimsy. It's a Hannah Lynn book. I had actually picked out this page here. And what I did was I took the page out of the book and I scanned it with my phone app. You could scan while it's in the book, but the like curvature of the spine, you won't get a good scan, so the page prints out curved. The reason I did that was one, this is one of her few books where there's no duplicates. Most of her books have 2 copies of each. And 2, I just didn't feel like fooling around with Create Space paper. So I printed it on the paper I enjoy using, and I'm just going to start that one today as part of WIP Wednesday. So I'm going to do something I never do. I'm going to do the background first. I always wait until the end for the background, but today we are branching out, guys. So let me get some brushes here. We'll go with this one. All right, so she's a fairy sitting on a bunch of books. The background to me looks like a piece of paper. I mean, her dress is made out of paper. So I wanted to keep the paper theme alive. I think I'm gonna kind of do a lot of neutral tones in this. Not totally sure yet. So I'm just gonna wing it. But this is my Distress Ink and Antique Linen. If you didn't know, they actually provide you with printable stickers on their website. I print it out on sticker paper, cut it out, and put it on the side. I store all my ink pads upside down so the ink pools at the top. I did not come up with that. I got that from Zucchini Kitty, so I must give her credit. But yeah, let's get this background going and then I can chat. I really hope this brush is clean or this is going to suck. But the good thing is I can just print it back out. So I'm just using this brush. Okay, we're gonna have to get a little more ink on there. Near the areas where, like her wings, because I'm gonna do translucent. I can't talk today. Translucent wings, and so I don't want it super like over her stuff here. So there's a few applicators with Distress Inks. You can use these makeup brushes. You can use the spongies that come with Distress Inks. These little guys here. I have a love-hate with these little guys. I think it's because I need to practice more with them. But you can use these makeup brushes, and I got like this set of, I think it was 5 or 6, pretty cheap, but I'm actually looking to replace them because I found another set that has even like cooler tools. Like they have little precision ones also. And so these precision tools are like angled and everything, so I can get really close. Let me move this here so you don't see my arm in the way. So I can get like really close to what I'm coloring, even easier than my smallest tool that comes with the set. And I don't care if I go over the border here. And yes, some places are darker than, the rest. I'm actually doing that on purpose. I don't care if I get a little on her skin or her hair, because I'm going to use colors that'll cover that. I just didn't want to get the wings. Okay, so what's been going on? Well, I got my furniture. So you don't have to hear me complain about furniture anymore. There's like 3 pieces that are on back order, and oh my gosh, Ashley Furniture is such a tease. So the day after they delivered, I got this email saying, would you like your order faster? Click here. And so I clicked, and then it directed me to this thing saying, oh, it looks like all of our trucks are full. Please call this 1-800 number and schedule it that way. So I did, and I waited on hold forever. And I finally get to a human, and she goes, I don't know why the system sent that. We don't have your items, and we still won't have them till May 5th, which was the original date they had told me. So I was like, okay. So that was interesting, but the only things that are missing is the TV stand, which I decided to take one of my moving boxes and make my own little makeshift TV stand. It's not good looking at all. And my TV is barely hanging on there. Like if someone bumps it, that thing's falling over. So yeah, I've got that for now. And then let's see, the other thing that was missing was one of my end tables that go in between my sofas and then the ottoman. Like all minor things I don't really give a crap about. I was just happy that these sofas showed up. And then I wouldn't let anyone sit on them. I'm like, don't dirty them. Wash your hands, wash your face. So I had to wait so long and pay so much. Gosh darn it, they're gonna stay clean. But yeah, so we got that furniture here. My bedroom furniture too came. I feel so much better. Like I literally like stopped everything I was doing after the guys left and started unpacking all the boxes for those rooms. You know, I felt so relieved, and it sounds so silly, but it was like, oh my gosh, I finally feel like I have a house again. And so now I can go, because I had set aside some money in our moving budget for decor. One, because it was a bigger house, but two, I was getting all new furniture. So my old living room was like browns, deep reds, dark greens, tan-ish colors. I guess that's a brown also. And my new furniture is like the total opposite. I'm talking like I have a grayish, gray beige color couches with dark blue and white, like total opposite of what I had before. So my old decor does not really match. So I set aside money in the budget to go decor shopping at like that at-home store where you get stuff really cheap, and Kohl's, and just wherever the wind blows me. So I'm just waiting for the right day to do that. And then I can like get new picture frames, and then I'm gonna start hanging pictures and our art and just finish it up. But I have furniture, so I feel like I have a house, and that was big stress relief. And probably for you guys too, because now you don't have to listen to me complain about furniture. But yeah, so that happened this week. We still don't have a fence though. I swear every time, so they schedule a day to do the fence, and then it rains, so they can't do the fence because they need to make this mow strip thingy with concrete, and you can't do that in the rain. So it got pushed back. It was supposed to be done Friday. Like they were gonna pour their mow strip and hang the whole fence, and then it rained. And then they're supposed to do it this Tuesday, and it's supposed to rain today, so I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. At this point, I've gotten to the point where, because it's been so many times where they say, yeah, it's gonna be done this day, and then for some reason it cancels, that I'm now just kind of like, sure, sure. Like, I'm just gonna, not getting my hopes up. I am getting really sick of walking the dog. I know it's great exercise. This is why I never had a dog when I owned an apartment, because I didn't want to have to get up and like take them for a physical walk every single time they needed to go out. But the dog is also starting to rebel and get a little, she's turning into a little monster is what she's turning into. But it's because she can't roam free, and she too is annoyed at the whole leash situation. So, because I mean, her whole puppy life that she's known so far, she's been allowed to go roam the backyard. And I would let her roam now if I didn't think she would run away from us. So hopefully I'll have a fence this week. All right, I think that's pretty good. Oh, actually, you know what? It looks a little too white up there. I can always go back and add more with my other detailing tools, because these sponges, or not sponges, these makeup brushes don't always get right up in there. In fact, where's my, let's see. So these little detailers, they're really cheaply made and incredibly overpriced for what you get. But they do help you get into those small little areas when you need them. But I can't believe how much they charge for a stick with a foam circle glued to the back of it. But hey, I paid for it, so they won. Get that in there. All right, yeah, and then I can mess with it more later, but I think looks pretty good. It looks like we're working with paper. It's a little light down there though. I just want it. And you can like spray water on this and get the speckled effect. I'm not really going for that with this. I just want it to look like aged. Like it's all over aged paper type of thing. All right, so I walked into this page without a plan. other than I wanted it to be paper and neutral and Prismacolors. So I think, let's see, so she's got little antennae, I think is how you say it for plural, up there. Dress, her skin. I think I want to start with her hair. So I always like to do Hannah Lynn hair like standing out. But this time, like I said, I'm going to keep it neutral. So I want to do a brown hair with Prismacolors. So let's see. I'm going to grab some espresso. Dark brown, which I think is pretty small right now. Yep, dark brown. Light umber. I need something a lot lighter for some contrast. Actually, beige, sienna, well, no. Peach beige, maybe. Maybe I'll just do my burnt ochre and add, or I mean sienna brown. Where's sienna brown? No, that's burnt ochre. All my pencils are super short. Might have to grab some new ones. All right, let me sharpen real fast. Woo, maybe. Oh, and if you're wondering, because I'm talking about things that are happening on Tuesday or whatever of this week, and you're like, wait, this is WIP Wednesday. If you're unfamiliar with my WIP Wednesdays, right now in our new house, our internet is awful, so I have to record on Mondays. So that's the biggest bummer. So it's like, hey guys, I'm recording on a Monday. But I'm hoping they will fix it soon. If not, the better internet, make sure that's dry, the better internet provider will be out here very soon, and then I can swap to them and actually record on the same day because I can upload the same day. I like to because then it seems more relevant. But with Hannah Lynn hair, I don't do what I normally do with other hair. I kind of go a different approach with Hannah Lynn hair. So I just do the whole chunky style, I guess is the best way to put it. Whereas with other hair, I sit there and like flick it. I just don't with Hannah Lynn's because I don't know, I feel more cartoonish with her stuff. I don't feel like I need to make it realistic. I still give highlights and, you know, I make some contrast, but for the most part, I keep it pretty simple. Let's get that in there. You can see all my browns are really short. And also, when I do normal hair or realistic looking hair, I actually don't use Prismacolor because they don't hold a point like whatsoever. You know, they're very soft, crumbly. That's what we love about Prismacolor. But when it comes to hair, you want a pencil that is going to stay sharp. So I stick to like the harder leaded pencils. You can use like Black Widows. Black Widows aren't as soft as Prismacolors. But for Hannah Lynn hair, I use them because I don't need that super sharp point to make a flicking motion. Yeah, see, I just try to keep it natural. Then I go back in with my darkest and kind of add some shadows here and there, playing around with it. Sorry if I seem distracted at the moment. There's a glass company parked outside my house, and I'm wondering if they're here to replace the broken window or if they're for the house next door that's being constructed. So when we bought our house, we had bought it while it was still under construction, and when they went to install the carpet, their carpet installers broke the window. So there's a big crack in our window right now, and we have been waiting and waiting, and supposedly they're supposed to call me before they just show up, and I haven't heard anything, but there's like a glass truck parked outside, and part of me wants to go up to him and be like, hey, are you here for me? But I don't want to, like, in case they're here for the house next door. But yeah, I've been waiting for them to come replace that broken window, because now that we have window coverings, I open the window in the morning and then I'm just like, oh. It's just a single pane that was broke. So not like both, because they're double pane windows, so it's not like both panes were broken. If that was the case, I would be making them hurry it up, because we would have like, air leakage, and that's could even get water damage. But it's just one of the panes got cracked. So it's just ugly and they need to come fix it. But hopefully, if they are for me, you'll just hear me a doorbell and I'll have to get up for a second. Okay, so that's chocolate there, or espresso. It's espresso. But yeah, so things are coming together here. If we do get that fence up this week, I will be oh so happy, because that's the final thing on my nag list. I have a nag list for my husband, because I really am a nag. I'm like, is this done yet? Can you do this yet? I think it's because I have the personality, though, where if something needs to be done, I get it done right away, which is why I get flustered when, like, people who work for me don't have that same mentality. And in some cases, my rush to get things done are almost unrealistic, even for me, like, kind of like unpacking a house. Most people take a couple of weeks to unpack and get settled. I just can't do that. I have to unpack everything ASAP. So, like, I unpack a house in like 4 days, and I'm super exhausted and burnt out from it, but I just have to do it. Most people are like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So yeah, I guess I just get extra flustered when others aren't like me, but at the same time, it's like most people aren't like that, because they're realistic and no one wants to like get everything done in one day. I mean, I enjoy checking things off a to-do list. I get all sorts of giddy, but I'm also a to-do list junkie, so I don't know. Let's see, that looks like her hair up here. I love Hannah Lynn hair. Like, I wish I could do like these haircuts, that she's got on her girls, because they're so stinking adorable. I just want those haircuts for myself, but don't think I could pull these off. And then, like, when I normally color Hannah Lynn hair, I do it pretty bright and do a bunch of different colors. Like, I'll do pinks and purples, and oh, I just live vicariously through my Hannah Lynn characters and their hair. I had purple hair once, but it was way too much maintenance. You had to put on this purple shampoo and conditioner that stained your hands, your shower, everything, just to maintain the purple color. And even with that expensive, annoying stuff, it still faded out. And when purple hair fades out, it's not a pretty color. Like, I have a hair appointment Wednesday, and I'm finally, because I haven't had my hair done since COVID, and so it's just been growing out and out, and I'm actually surprised at how far my hair has grown out. This is the longest it's ever been naturally, but I don't want to say it's too long. I just want to say it like needs some layers or something, because everything's one layer right now. And so it's just like you go to wash it and brush it, and like you have nothing to grab onto it. Like, it needs some layers or something to break it up a little. And then I was going to have her add like a few highlights or something just to add some life into it so it's not just one color. Yeah, I'll be getting that done on Wednesday. And then of course trim off all the dead ends that I've accumulated in the last year. I used to always get hair extensions because I couldn't handle growing out my short haircuts. They get to this phase where they're on like your shoulders and they become obnoxious. So I would chop off my hair so I could never grow it out. So a friend of mine was like, well, why don't you just put extensions in? That way, you know, you can grow it out and then you're done. And so I actually had them taken out just before they locked down last year for COVID because they were giving me headaches. I have very, very thick, real hair. So putting extensions on my hair, like the average person needs like just a bag or two of hair. I need like 5 bags because otherwise it looks obvious that I have extensions if they don't add enough bags of the fake hair. Well, I'm sorry, it's not even fake. It's real hair. So it just like ton of weight would be added to my head when I had extensions, and I had the sewn in ones. Basically, they get these beads, tiny little beads, and they put them on like a couple strands of hair, and then they tighten it all the way to your scalp. And my hair lady used to joke about how it was like your instant facelift, but it would hurt really bad. And then they would sew the hair to those little beads. And the funny thing about those are, it does give you a facelift because it's really like yanking your face right up. But have you ever like just had a small piece of your hair being pulled on, you know, to the point where it lifts the scalp? That's kind of what those felt like, except it was constantly that way, and your scalp would be so sore and raw for like, you know, 3 to 5 days after every time they had to tighten them and reposition. But because my natural hair is so thick, I was getting headaches from the weight of all the extensions they had to put in to make it look natural. So I had them taken out, and then not even a week later, everything shut down. So I was like, oh man, I'm so glad I had those taken out, because otherwise they would have grown out and hurt even more, because it would have been like a ton of hair dangling on these strands of hair and just yanking on my scalp all the time. But yeah, thanks to COVID, I kind of had to deal with the annoying hair growing out, and now my hair is longer than it was with extensions. So I guess that was a positive thing. I'm not saying thank you, COVID, for that, but the inability to go do my hair forced me to just live with it, and now it's all grown out. But just definitely needs to be like layered or something, because like I said, it's very thick naturally, so it's just this chunky monster at the moment. And I don't even know why I'm like paying to have it highlighted and done anything cute, because it's not like I ever wear it down. It's always in a ponytail because it gets so hot when it's on my shoulders. Does anyone else have that? Like, if you have long hair, do you always get hot with your hair, like if it's down? I mean, even in the winter, I'm usually in a ponytail because I just get really hot. It's like a furnace on my head. Don't know if it's just me suffering from that, or if that's just a common woman problem. Long hair problem, I should say, because there's guys with long hair. I think that's turning out pretty cute. I like that, yeah. I'm not one for doing all browns, but I think this would look really good with browns. Okay, sorry about that. I had to do a quick pause because I thought the window guy was walking up to my door. He wasn't. So had to stop the recording for a second. I really do hope they're here with my glass though. I'm starting to get a little flustered on that one because it's like, hello. We were told by the builder basically as like the house next door gets constructed, when the contractor that would be repairing the thing that needs repairing in our house, then they would come over here. So like we have the window, so it looks like they're installing windows next door. So that's why I'm like, are you here for me too? But also all around our cabinets and our stair banisters, they need to add these quarter rounds and then like kind of put some caulking in there. And so when the house next door gets to that phase, they'll bring it over here. And then we also, like, there's a hole, I don't want to say a hole, it's more like a dent in the laundry room wall, right where the washing machine goes. And you're probably like, well, why bother fixing that if the washing machine covers it? Thing is say that water hose, which is right above where this dent is, ever breaks, that water is going to go into, like, instead of pouring out on my floor, which sounds bad, but it isn't, because there's a drain there, so it would drain out into the sewer line. So instead of going in there, it could seep into that dent because it is a full crack like through the drywall, and then it would go in between my walls, and so that could cause a lot of damage. So it's actually a big deal to have that crack right there. So yeah, they're supposed to come out and fix that once their, drywall guy is working next door. And I don't know when their drywall guy will be working next door, because they just barely finished framing that thing. So it'll probably be a little while, but I don't know. I'm shocked at how fast they build houses, and nervous because I'm living in one of those houses. And it's not just this builder, like all builders move this fast. But I mean, like, let's see, a couple days before we moved in, the house next door was just foundation. So the foundation was poured. And then as we were moving in, they were starting to frame it. And here we are. I think we've officially lived here for 3 weeks now. And the house next door is like completely framed. All the wood is on the exterior. They're putting in windows now. And it's just nuts. But from what I've been told, the foundation takes the longest because it has to sit there for so many days to cure. And then like the framing thing is actually easy. Like they can frame up a house in a week or two, depending on its size. It's all the details inside that take a while. So they'll get like the, exterior wood up, the windows in, and all that stuff. But then when it comes to, all the fine details, like the cabinetry, the tile work, drywall, all that ends up taking a lot of the time. Because even our house, when we bought it, we walked through it, and most of it looked pretty done, but it still took them several weeks just to finish all those really fine details. So, like, because when we bought it, it didn't have the flooring in yet. It had the cabinets and some of the countertops, but not all of them. And then that was pretty much it. And so they were working on all those itty bitty details, and it took them almost 4 weeks to finish them up. And then, like I said, they have a few fix-ups they still need to do. So hopefully they do come with my windows, because I would really like it. I mean, that was the deal. As the vendor goes to the house next door, they bring my replacement along. But I guess I'll wait and see. So yeah, not much else going on this week. I do plan to get my craft room tour out really soon. Like I said, so I've been trying to find a way to store all my markers. Because my craft room is smaller than my other craft room. Well, okay, no, it's not necessarily smaller. It's just my old craft room, instead of there being a closet, the closet was removed. So my craft desk and craft area were nestled into that little, what's the word? area, whatever, where a closet would normally be. So it kind of increased the square footage of that room, usable square footage of that room, I should say. So in this room, there's no closet, so I'm using just literally the room space. And I don't want to hang a ton of stuff on the walls for storage because this is only temporary. Once we finish our basement, I'm actually going to move into one of the rooms in the basement, and that'll be my total craft room, office, recording studio. It'll be great because right now the room I'm in has no doors, so it still can be loud if the kids aren't quiet. So yeah, I mean, I've been trying to find creative ways to store all of my art supplies. Now, none of my craft supplies have come out of the box and probably won't until my actual craft room is built. But my art supplies still take up a ton of space. And so I have like a few things, but I've been struggling with my marker storage. And they're taking up a shelf of this bookcase I bought that I really need for other art supplies, like my pan pastels or my Distress inks, which are all just kind of stacked on top of one another at the moment. So I think I found a solution because I was trying to find, like, you can buy those clear plastic ones from Spectrum Noir, and I think a few other brands make them as well. But they're really expensive and not quite what I was looking for because I just want everything, like, I want like a little cubby where I can put all of one color family in it. And they do sell things like that, but they're all like $70 to $150. One was like $200. And I found like some custom made ones on Etsy too. And because it's labeled as marker storage, like the price markup is ridiculous. And so I found this shoe cubby, and it holds like one shoe per cubby, so it's not like a huge thing. And it was like $30. It's just a closet organizer type thing, so it's probably made of cheap particle board, but I don't care. And I'm going to try it. I think it arrives tomorrow. I'm going to try it and see, because I want to combine not just the Copics that I'm slowly acquiring, but I want to be able to put all of the Ohuhus, Artifies, the cheaper brands I try. I want them all by color family in the same little cubby. So it's not just going to be Copics in like the red-violet cubby. It'll be all my Ohuhus and everything else that falls in that family. So I can use multiple brands with one another as well. So yeah, I'll have to let you guys know how that turns out. That's why I removed my craft room tour that was supposed to go live Monday. I can't tell. I think this is hair. We're going to make it hair. But yeah, so I removed it and I'm going to re-record it after I fix that. So, because I wanted it to be up to date. I also plan to do an up to date all of my colored pencil collection. I know quite a few of you find me on YouTube from that video, and that was made last year, so I figured now it's a good time to make an updated one because I have acquired a lot more pencils since that video was made. Obviously, it's been a year. So it'll be nice to redo that, and then I plan to do a video with all my coloring books. I'm waiting on a couple that I ordered to show up. I just can't stop buying them. It's getting a little ridiculous, I know. Honestly, so this haul this month is probably going to be ridiculous. But I will be taming them down. It was just, there was a whole like slew of books that I liked that I couldn't get before that suddenly I had the ability to get, so I just bought them. But yeah, I think I'm pretty set on that for a while. I need to quit buying books and start coloring in all of the ones I have first. But I'm going to do a whole book collection video once I get those final ones. A couple are coming from overseas, so that's kind of the holdup, but they should come by the end of this month, just in time for my haul. And then I don't know if I'm going to buy many more hardback books other than like those that come from Hannah Carlson, Maria Troll's new one. Those ones I'll still buy, but I've been switching more to PDFs because I can bind them myself. I have a binding machine. So it's kind of, you know, cheaper to just buy the PDF, print it, and bind it myself. Plus then I get to print it on the paper I like, as opposed to being stuck with whatever paper they choose. Let's go through and just darken some of these. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, internet did come out last week. Unfortunately, because it was snowing, they couldn't get on the roof. But even the guy, when he was hooking up his equipment, he was like, "Oh, I'm barely getting 20 hardwired." I'm like, I know. Definitely know. So I'm hoping when they come out on Tuesday, they will be able to do something. They just couldn't get on my roof. All right, let's work on... I'm saving the fairy wings for last because I want to get kind of like a reflection. I want to start working on these pieces of paper. So my usual go-to for paper is artichoke and cream. I'm thinking... let's try it out. It's been a while since I've colored paper, believe it or not. So where's my artichoke? Artichoke. Let's get my cream out. Ooh, my cream is getting small. All right, so see how small my cream is? I am going to show you guys a quick little coloring hack that I do. Okay. So when your cream is this small, or any pencil brand, this works on any brand, put that off to the side. So when it gets this small, right, it won't get into my doll. Like, see, it goes into the hole. So I can't really sharpen it effectively. So what I do is I take my spare brand new one, and let me get those. Grab a piece of tape, and then I just take end to end and tape it together. And this works with any sharpener brand. You don't have to have like a doll. I'm trying to get them all. Oops, come on you. Okay, so you want to try and keep it centered. Sorry, I can't balance it with my hands off or on camera. Okay. So then I just tape it around and tape it together like that. And now I have something to grip onto and sharpen. And ta-da! And I should show you guys, I'll do a different video maybe down the road for a coloring hack, but with this method, I basically can keep sharpening this pencil all the way to where I hit the tape. So like, that's all that's left. And the only reason I can't go past the tape is I don't want to get this tape residue in my sharpener, whether it's an electric sharpener, my doll, my Tagal, whatever. I just don't want that residue in there because that will really screw things up. So, hack of the day. That's what I do. The only problem is you do have like an abnormally large pencil, like it's almost as long as my page. So I'm hoping I don't smack the camera with it. All right, so I usually use artichoke and cream for paper. I want to test it out a little and see how it looks up against the background I made. So let's try it out and see. And I go very lightly with the artichoke because artichoke is kind of greenish. And it's just my shadow color, really. And you can always go in with some white later on, lighten it up if you need to. And by the way, when you do this tape method, make sure you're holding the pencil and not the tape area. And so you're probably going, well, hey, what about pencil extenders? Why don't I just use a pencil extender? You can totally do that, but the pencil extenders don't fit inside your dull sharpener. So you still have problems sharpening. Like back in the day, I would put them on my pencil extender and stick them in my Tagal, but still I could not sharpen down to here, like no way. So I started doing this, and I don't even know how it came to me. Just one day I was like, you know what? Why don't I just tape these stupid things together? It was one of those moments where you have an idea and you're like, hey, this is a good idea. Why didn't I ever do it? And then you think, why can't I come up with like $1 million idea? But no, I know how to make my pencils last. But yeah, your extenders, I could grip onto here, but I can't fit that fat extender inside my doll. I can in the Tagal, but the Tagal tends to tear up my Prismacolors unless I have it on setting number 1. And I don't, with Prisma being so easily smushed down because, you know, it's so soft, I don't feel like sharpening every 5 minutes. So I would have it on setting 5, but then that just means I'd be sharpening, you know, and breaking my cores because for some reason they just don't sharpen well in the Tagal on setting 5. At least for me. That's the thing. Prismacolor, they're my favorite pencil, but they do have off-center cores sometimes. You do get bad batches. That said, I still buy them because they're one of my favorites. I wish they were more receptive to consumer feedback, but to be honest, they know that people are going to buy them. So that's probably why they're just like, we don't care. And it's true, because I've had off-center ones. I've had pencils where they just kept breaking and breaking and breaking until I practically sharpened away 1/3 of the pencil. And hey, guess what? I still bought more. Because I love the way Prismacolors work with my coloring style. I know they're not for everyone. There's a lot of people that don't like Prismacolors, and it's personal preference. Honestly, just because I like them doesn't mean you will. Just because you don't like them doesn't mean everyone, you know, will hate them too, or hate such a strong word, dislike them as well. I always tell people, if there's a brand of pencil out there that's new, buy a small set. If they're available open stock, then go buy the open stock, please. And then get colors you can actually make a color, you know, gradient out of. And then see for yourself, like, you can watch all the reviews in the world, but at the end of the day, your coloring style is unique to you no matter what. It's kind of like when last week I was touching on the whole question of, you know, what pencils work on what paper. It's really personal preference, and it comes down to your style. Do you press hard? Do you layer? You know, I mean, everyone's pressure is different. Even my light pressure might not be your light pressure. I mean, I've seen people with some light pressure that they're barely touching the page. And even when you use the tricks of where to hold your pencil, we still all come out with a different amount of pressure regardless. I don't want to get into the physics or science of it, but I mean, if you have trouble coloring light pressure, you should hold your pencil way back here and color, because it's physically more difficult to press hard this way. That said, I'm still going to press with my own pressure from this far back. Same thing here when I hold for a medium pressure, here when I hold for heavy. You know, that's a beginner's trick for, you know, lightening your pressure. But no matter what, we still apply a different amount of pressure using that technique. So everyone's different with how pencils react to them. I mean, there's so many pencils out there that people love, and I'm just like, oh, I hate these things. And then there's so many pencils out there that people can't stand, and I'm like, I love them. So always watch reviews to get informed, you know, learn the gist of it, the drawbacks of them. Like the things that are universal, like price, shipping issues, availability of open stock, you know, things like that. Totally watch reviews for that. But at the end of the day, if someone tells you, oh, this pencil is horrible, it doesn't color right, don't get it, I would take that with a grain of salt. It's kind of like negative reviews on Google. I don't really pay attention to those a lot because everyone's unique and someone might have had a bad experience with a certain pencil, but you could end up really liking that pencil. So I always just say, go for it if you really want to try it. Just try a smaller amount so you don't spend a ton of money. Like with Pablo's, I bought Pablo's because everyone loved them. Like, loved them. The reviews were great. I couldn't find anyone other than Color with Claire who said she didn't like them. And, you know, she's the same way. She even tells you to try them out. So I got the Pablo's, and I do have a similar, I use heavier pressure like Claire does too. But I might be a little heavier. She still has a little lighter touch, but our coloring styles are similar. And so she didn't like them, but I still bought them because I was like, you know, I'm gonna try. I bought the huge set, which was cost a fortune. And when I swatched them, you know, going off of how 99% of the reviews I saw said they were amazing and they loved them and everyone should buy them. And then I had that one that was like, oh, I don't like these. You know, I ended up not liking them either. I found them scratchy. They're very scratchy to me. And anytime I say that, everyone says that they didn't experience scratchy. And I'm tempted to buy another set and just try it out and see if I still have that issue. But I'm kind of scared because that's not a cheap tryout pencil. So, and two reasons, like part of me is like, okay, should I just fork out the dough, buy the big set again, see what I think, return it if I hate it? But the thing is like, you know, I could go buy the cheaper set like I preach to you guys to do and get the smaller one, but then what if I love them? Then I'm like, crap, I need all the other colors. So I'm kind of in a pickle on Pablo's. I don't know if I should give them another chance and then see if they'll redeem themselves, or if I'll end up using them and then going, oh my gosh, these things are still crap. I hate them. Why did I waste my money and time doing this to myself? So, I don't know. We'll see. I have had a few of you comment about how much you love your Pablo's. But like I said, we're all different. Like, I love Black Widows. Not everyone loves Black Widows. You know, polychromos. I love polychromos. Not everyone loves polys. I didn't even love polys when I first got them. To be honest, I actually hated Prismacolors when I first got them. I was coming off of cheaper budget beginner pencils. But, you know, I had seen all these tutorials and people were all using Prismacolor. I was like, oh, I'm going to love these right out of the box. And I actually hated them for a very long time. It took me a while to get used to Prismacolors, and now they're my favorite. They're my warm, cozy blanket. Like, I'll go try other brands, but at the end of the day, I still keep coming back to my Prismacolors. Like, if you said I could only pick one brand of pencil to take with me, it would be Prisma, because I'm so comfortable with them. Like, I know what colors work together. I know how they feel on certain paper. Yeah, they're my pencil. But I spent months learning how to use them, and then since then I've been using them for years. So I've just kind of developed the love, if you will. It's like a relationship over time. You learn more about one another, you know, all your quirks, you know, your pros and cons. And then the relationship grows or doesn't grow, depending on what you learn. Let's open this real quick. But I'm not divorcing my Prismacolors. Even when they have crappy batches. And I have been the victim of the crappy batches, trust me. I think anyone who's bought enough Prismacolors has had that happen. But you know what? You can return them on Amazon when you get a bad batch. Like a couple weeks ago, they had those batches on sale for really cheap, like 65 bucks for 150 count. I bought one set. I had seen a few people say they thought they were fake Prismacolors. And then there was others that said the colors didn't match. Like, so, like say this artichoke I have here, the artichoke they got in that cheap set didn't match their other artichoke. I didn't have that issue. I compared them. I even like did a quick little swatch next to one another. All of mine were the same color as all of the Prismacolors I purchased open stock from Blick. I didn't see anything on the barrels of mine to indicate that they would be some sort of fake cheap knockoff. So I didn't have that problem. I do feel bad if anyone did, but I didn't. And then the other day that deal came back and I missed it. I should have jumped on it. But I think I'm good on colors right now. I'm just going to stick to buying open stock because there's certain colors I go through faster. And those sets are nice to pick up a whole set, you know, every now and then so you can replenish. But when I do my craft tour, I'll show you guys like where I keep my open stock Prismas. I even inventory them. I have an inventory. And once I get down to one, I like place a Blick order for a bunch. But that's about the only brand of pencil that I actually like have a ton of open stock and I inventory it because I go through them so fast. I use them a lot, but I also go through them really fast because I'm naughty, and while on camera I might be using my doll, I also, when I'm off camera, sitting on my bed coloring with Prismacolors, I'm incredibly lazy and I use my battery sharpener. But Prismas have just become so affordable that I can do that. I would never throw Polychromos in there or any other brand. That would just be, I mean, my cheap budget pencils for sure, but my artist grade ones, but the only ones that would go through my battery sharpener are these Prismas. And my Black Widows have to go through there, but Black Widows to me are budget pencils. I know they're getting kind of pricey in comparison, but to me they're still a budget pencil. And yes, I am still going to do that video on the pros and cons of budget pencils. I've been working on an outline and notes. I need notes so I don't accidentally leave anything out when I film the video, but that one is going to be out pretty soon. I'm just working on finalizing my notes. I'd love to hear in the comments what you consider to be a budget pencil. Like what makes you classify something as a budget pencil? Oh, you know what? How cute. Her name is signed right there. Hannah Lynn on that piece of paper. That's super adorable. See, because her signature is here at the bottom and it matches that one right there. Isn't that cool? I just noticed that. All right, so I think all the paper on her dress has been made into paper. I got some straggler papers we'll grab. I don't know what color I'm going to do the books. Maybe some dark greens and browns. Like I said, I really want to do a lot with the browns. You can color a whole picture in brown and it'll still look, it'll have depth and dimension. This artichoke is more of a green brown, but I'm not sure yet. I gave her brown hair, which is hard because I always love to give like pink and purple hair to my Hannah Lynn tunes. That one. Oh, we got some paper down here. The Distress Ink did most of the work on this one for me. Might color in those pages using this same color too. Yeah, for budget pencils, like for me, I consider a budget pencil if it's not from a known or like a big artist brand. And by that I mean like Prismacolor, Derwent, Faber-Castell, Caran d'Ache. That's what I mean by like a big artist brand. I mean, they don't just make colored pencils, they make actual art supplies. That's one. Another is price. You know, open stock availability is another. Because if it's a really, like if it's a actual professional artist grade pencil, it's going to have open stock. Because an artist might run out of a color and they need open stock. And I know a lot of people are like, hey, Black Widows are open stock. When I say open stock, I mean at 2 in the morning on a Sunday, when I run out of cream here, I can get online and order it. I don't need to special email or message someone on Facebook. Like, I can just straight up order it from Blick Arts and, you know, it arrives. That is what I mean by open stock, because I know Black Widow, I've had that comment a few times. I'll sharpen again. Where people are like, no, it is open stock. I'm like, well, it's not though. I have to message the owner on Facebook and request them. So I can't just order a pack of 12 open stock creams at 2 a.m. like I do right now with my Prismacolors. So that's what I mean with open stock, like legit open stock, not yes, it's available, but you got to do this. At least that's for me. It's really hard because I know there's so many budget pencils out there that list themselves as artist grade or professional grade. So they're playing with that word, and it can be very misleading for people who are new to art supplies in general, you know, because you see artist grade and you think, oh, this is okay. Artists use this, but that's a word that can be loosely thrown around. This isn't the supplement and vitamin industry where you can, you know, can't get away with making claims. These are colored pencils. They're not regulated on terminology. So to them, they can call it an artist grade pencil and dupe us into buying it and then be, you know, definitely not artist grade. So I don't go off of that word in a description, because to me, it's just like that word almost means nothing now with all these budget brands out there. Just throwing it out around and saying it's an artist grade pencil. You're like, but it's not. It's definitely not professional grade. Light fastness testing, you know, QA testing. Those are big factors determining if something's genuinely artist grade or not. I mean, Prismacolor has had its QA or quality control issues, but they still do go through a QA process. Although when I get those batches that, you know, are off center and don't sharpen well or just keep snapping, I'm like, gosh, who are you paying in your quality control center? But still, I still consider them non-budget. There's a professional pencil. There we go. Got paper. Paper everywhere. Did I get all the paper? I think so. This one's actually going to be really fun. Her wings, I might even try to do something a little different. Okay, so now for her dress. I think... oh, I could do some gold on here. That might be fun. I'd have to think on that one. All right, let me think here. So I could do like her little glasses in gold and like some of these buttons. I really need to buy those metallic like paint pens and markers, but I haven't gotten around to it. Debatable. Her antennas, I haven't decided what color I want to do with those, or her eyes, or any of that. But like all these little ruffles, I think, let me look at my colors. I'm using the Color with Claire color family charts. These were super handy. I don't want to throw French gray in there because I think that might throw it off a bit. But let's see, what can we throw in? Okay, I could do some beige sienna and peach beige. Let's try it. If I hate it, I can always erase it. So let's see. Peach beige, where are you? Okay, so peach beige and beige sienna. Of course, they need to be sharpened. I never sharpen and just store my pencils, so they're always in there unsharpened. The reason I do that is it's kind of like, well, what's the point of sharpening and then putting them away? Okay, so beige sienna first. Let's try this out and see how I like it on her, whatchamacallit, ruffles. I feel like I need something a little darker than our beige sienna. Let's see, so could try green ochre. Let's try that instead. Oh, where's my green ochre? Oh yeah, I think I like that a lot better. And it'll play nicely off of the artichoke that we're using for our paper. And I might even be able to incorporate this green ochre into the books she's sitting on. So I think that'll work. And then yeah, this peach beige. I think that'll work just fine. Yeah. Like I said, I went into it without a plan, but that's with most pictures. That's the hardest part with like color alongs, because I kind of have to pre-plan it. I don't want you guys to just sit there waiting for me on camera to be like, what should I do next? But I find it so much easier to pick colors as the picture develops, you know? Like I'll have an idea in mind of what I want, but not entirely. Like as things get colored in, you know, I go, oh no, I want to do this now, or I want to do this now. Actually, you know, a bronze, not gold, bronze, like an aged bronze might be better for all the metal. See how it just keeps changing? Where'd my brush go? All right. Yeah, I think we'll stick with that for her little ruffly areas. Do the ruffle of her dress. And then I think I'll cull it from there. Sorry about that, guys. I had to take another break. This is why Corey does not live stream. I basically am glued to my phone because I have to wait for contractors to call and say, hey, can I come finish this or deliver this? And so it was ringing and I didn't recognize the number, so I had to answer it real quick. And I was glad I did because it was the guys for my window coverings. They installed them last week, but there was a piece they forgot. And then they forgot to, or they didn't load the ones that cover my sliding glass door. So they had to add that, or come back and add that. So I'm always having to pause and answer the phone. I do plan to live stream eventually. I think it might be fun. You know, and just have a little fun with a live stream here and there. I don't think I'll be a regular live streamer though. Maybe when my recording studio in the basement is done, I could explore that. But right now with like the dog and the kids, I mean, I'll have a kid randomly scream, you know, or forget that I'm recording, even though I said 5 minutes ago I'm recording, you know, barrel down the stairs, which are right next to my current office, and just, yeah, so live streaming is kind of out of the question for now. But it is something I think would be fun to add in one day, just so you guys can like chat with me live, but not yet, not yet. And hopefully when I'm editing, I remember to piece all 3 of these videos together. Because every time I stop to, like, I'll hit the pause button, but once you exit out to like answer a phone call, you have to restart. Yeah, I'm loving that. I think that'll be good. Those 2 will play really well with the artichoke and cream. And they're just different enough to add some depth. Like I said, I'm playing around with browns, and I don't do a lot of brown. I mean, I use the browns for like hair and tree trunks and stuff like that, but brown isn't like a color I predominantly use on a whole page. But I think this one would just look so fun. Maybe I'll even do the books brown. I don't know yet. And I do want some pops of color. I don't want it to all blend together. That's why I was thinking maybe some dark antique green looking books down below. That might be my answer to that. I'll darken these here a little because it's in shadow. And then I always like to darken the little ruffly things. And then get that there. All right. I think we're at a pretty good stopping point. It's really hard for me to tell how long this is in total because I had to pause and now my timer's all screwed up. But thanks guys for hanging out with me for another WIP Wednesday. I will probably keep working on this one, so it's not like it'll be here next week, but I'll keep sharing my progress on this one on Instagram. And I have been doing those little fast, you know, color combination video series. Let me know if you guys are enjoying that, because I might end up using it for like, say, these books or something down here, just so you can see those as well. So yeah, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And until then, take care.